All right, we're beginning section 9.4, factoring trinomials, continuous trinomials, except they just have a different form. You can see from section 9.3, it was just the x squared plus bx plus c. Section 9.4, we have a number up here. So the rules haven't changed much, but they have changed slightly. This here just adds another step in, or another couple of steps into our process for factoring all of this. First of all, check with the whole equation. See if there's anything that we could factor out. I mean, is there anything that they all have in common that we could factor out of either 2, 15, and 18? In this case, no, there is not. So first of all, check to see if you can factor anything out. Check to see if you can factor before we start. All right, in this case, there's a no, so we're just going to continue on to the next step. Multiply the first term and the last term, as long as it's in this form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c. It needs to be in this form. So we will multiply the first term with the last term. The first with the last. So 2 times 18. 2 times 18 is 36. All right. Then we have to just do a little more work on this. We use the number 36 to come up with 2 factors that will add up to this middle term 15. All right. So 2 factors of 36 that add up to 15. And this is where we get 15. That add up to 15. Okay, so start thinking of our factors of 36. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is 6 and 6. 6 times 6, well, it equals 36, but when I add those together, I get 12. All right, so 6 and 6 is not going to work. So then I need to keep working until I get something else. All right, well, another factors of 36, 2 and 18. 2 times 18 equals 36. 2 plus 18 is 20. That does not add up to 15, so this does not work. Well, 9 and 4. 9 times 4 is 36. Right? 9 times 4 is 36. Add those together, 9 plus 4. 9 plus 4 is 13. So we are not done yet. That does not work. How about 3 and 12? 3 times 12 is 36. And 3 plus 12 is 15. So these are the factors we are going to use. We are going to use 3 and 12. And this is where it's different. We cannot do like what we had before, but I'm going to take this 15 here. I'm going to use the 15, and I'm going to break it up into 2 parts. All right? And you see what they're going to be. There's going to be one is going to be 3x, and the other one's going to be 12x. I'm going to rewrite this. So 2x squared. And it doesn't matter which order you do these in for the 3 and the 12. So plus 3x plus 12x plus 18. So all I've done, I've taken the 15 and I split it into 3x and 12x. Now we have 4 terms, and from last week, you should remember that if we have 4 terms, we're going to factor by grouping. All right. So our fourth step here was to rewrite fifth step, and we rewrote this. We wrote this here to make it match, to make it work. Fifth step, factor by grouping. Factor by grouping is what we did last week. So look at your first two terms, last two terms, and see what you can factor out of both of those. First two terms, anything with a 2 and a 3? No. I can factor out an x. X squared, and there's an x, so this first one, factor out an x. When I take the x out, I'm left with 2x. Take the x out here, 2x plus 3. Look at this second term to see what we can factor out, and we want to end up with 2x plus 3 in parentheses. 12x and 18, I can factor out a 6. Alright, factor out a 6 out of that, and you have 2x plus 3. Check. 6 times 2x is 12x, 6 times 3 is 18. These two match. That is good. So we can rewrite this to x plus 6, 2x plus 3. That is your solution. That's your answer. So follow these 5 steps that I have up here. All right, these will be the most common ones that we do, 2 through 5. 1 we may not. In your assignment, I don't think there's any. There is, I can see there is one we need to work, or at least a couple maybe we'll work with that way. I'm going to do another example, and I'm going to follow these same exact steps here. All right, I'm going to do another example up here. All right, I'm going to leave that up to how it is. Okay, let me look for one in here. This is number 10. 8x squared minus 4x minus 24. Look at this. Can I factor something out of all 3 terms? Yes, we can. We can factor out a 4. So that's our step number 1. And we are going to factor out a 4. All right. Factor out the 4. You have 2x squared minus x minus 6. Make sure you check your work here. 4 times 2, 8x squared. 4 times negative x, negative 4x. 4 times negative 6, negative 24. All right, next thing. Multiply the 2 with the negative 6. So 2 times negative 6 equals negative 12. What 2 factors of negative 12 will add up to negative 1? So 2 factors of negative 12 add up to negative 1. And you know one of those factors is going to be positive and one's negative because your answer is negative 12. So let's do 3 and 4. 3 times 4 is going to be 12. One of those needs to be negative. 3 and negative 4. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 3 plus negative 4 is negative 1. These are the factors we want to work with. So rewrite. That's number 3. Rewrite. 3 and negative 4. So 2x squared plus 3x minus 4x minus 6. Keep your 4 here because that's still part of that. All right, here we have. We just broke up this middle term into a positive 3x and a negative 4x. If I combine those, I have my negative x. This makes this work so much easier, this second step. All right, so factor by grouping. 4. Factor by grouping. Two x squared plus 3x, we can only factor an x out of that. So then you have 2x plus 3. With this group over here, I can factor out, it looks like a negative 2. I factor out a negative 2. This divided by negative 2 is going to be a positive 2x. And then negative 6 divided by negative 2, positive 3. We have these things that match. They match. So here we have our x minus 2, 2x plus 3. And don't forget this 4 is still multiplied to this group. Here is your final answer. So there's a lot of steps on this, but if you follow them in the same manner, the steps and the work and all this stuff, it's not hard. I mean, you can do this. Follow these simple steps. All right. I can do another example. If you've seen all you need to see, you know what you're doing, then you can go ahead and get started with the work. I'll do another example here. Let me do I can do number 14. All right, I'll do number 14 with you all. And again, if you know what you're doing, you don't need to watch anymore. Number 14. 4x squared plus 26x minus 48. First step, can I factor anything out of these? They're all even numbers, so yes we can. See if you can factor out a 4. You can factor a 4 out of 48 and then out of 4, but not out of 26. So all we can factor out of this is just going to be a 2. Factor out a 2. So 2x squared plus 13x minus 24. On with our rest of our steps. 2 times negative 24. So 2 times negative 24, that equals negative 48. So 2 factors of negative 48 that add up to positive 13. 2 factors of negative 48, and they add up to positive 13. Now we got to do some brainstorming. Well, all right. I first think of 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. One's going to be positive and one will be negative. And if I add those two together, I'll either get a positive 2 or a negative 2. So it's not going to be 6 and 8. Try 3. 48 divided by 3. 3 and 16. Three and 16 it is, yes. So our factors, 3 and 16. One of those needs to be negative. We want that -3. -3 times 16, multiply those together, it's -48. -3 plus 16, -3 plus 16, add those together, and it's +13. So those are good. That's what we're going to use in our middle term. Keep your 2. So 2x squared. Right? Use these for your middle terms. Minus 3x plus 16x minus 24. And that's what we did. We got to rewrite. We rewrote this. That's our third step, rewrite. And this helps so much in knowing what these two middle terms used to be, or need to be anyway. Now we factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. What can I factor out of 2x squared into 3x? Just an x. So I've got 2x minus 3. And I want to work it out so it's 2x minus 3 on this side also. I need to factor out an 8, it looks like. It's a +8. So 16x divided by 8, it's going to be 2x. -24 divided by 8, -3. And that's, we've got our terms here. X plus 8. X minus 3. And remember to include the 2 in there. Include the 2. We are done. There it is, factoring trinomials. It's difficult, but you have steps, follow the steps, and then it's going to be easy.